بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم افتح لنا بالخير واختم لنا بالخير واجعل عواقب أمورنا بالخير بيدك الخير والعافية إنك على كل شيء قدير. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. خير. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Last week we discussed the faraid of wudu. And when we mention faraid of wudu, we mention the minimum actions that a person needs to do to ensure that the wudu is correct. And we said how many faraid of wudu are there? Anyone can recall? How many faraid of wudu are there? How many compulsory actions do you find within wudu? 4, 5, 6. We mentioned 6. You know? 4 of the 6 is actions that you need to do, physical actions. The first one is the niyyah, it's done verbally or in the heart. And the last one is tartib. In some books you will find they say 4, but when they mean 4 actions. Are you with me? Then they exclude the niyyah and the sequence. But in reality, the wudu have 6. Niyyah, which is intention. And after intention, washing of the face. And we mentioned where does the face start and where does it end. And then after that is your arms. After arms is your head. We should abstain from saying the forehead. Because if we say forehead, then we confine ourselves to the space here. But when we say ba'dur ra's, some of the head, whether it is here, whether it is here, wherever it is, the minimum that can be done. And then after the head, we said footer, and after that is the sequence. Everything needs to be done in sequence. And then we demonstrated on how the complete wudu is supposed to be done. Khair, inshallah, so we will just read and explain inshallah because we've done this last week. Khair? So on page 13, the sunnah way to perform wudu, there's a word called that we use abdas. Do anyone know where does the word abdas come from? Anyone? This is the Arabic word. Ik vat gou abdas. Sir? Excellent. We inherited some of their words in our speeches. So abdas comes from where we got deen from originally, our great forefathers from Indonesia and Malaysia. With me? So the word abdas is not Arabic. Abdas is an Indonesian word or a Malay word. Okay. So the first one is to recite ta'awudh. The first sunnah is to recite ta'awudh. What is ta'awudh? Ta'awudh means a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I take refuge in Allah from the accursed shaitan. To say a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. And after saying that, we say bismillahir rahmanir rahim, which is called basmalah. In Arabic we call ta'awudh for a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. And we call basmalah bismillahir rahmanir rahim. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate. After reading that, there is a masnoon dua. Remember, in this specific book, it does not mention all the sunnah. It just mentions a few sunnah. Some ulama say there's up to 40, 50, 60 sunnahs in wudu. But here we confine ourselves to what is mentioned in the book. Are you with me? And I will add somehow if there is. There's another sunnah to read the dua, Bismillahi walhamdulillahi. There's many du'as, but the short form or the short dua is to say, after Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, a'udhu billah, Bismillahi walhamdulillahi. And then after that is to wash the hands up to and including the wrist 3 times. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We said Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim 3 times, 3 times. And then when we're done, we use the miswak. And Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to stress upon this. Make miswak before you make salah, and make miswak before you when you make wudu. Okay? So to use the miswak, and then rinse the mouth and nose out 3 times. And we did this last week. We say we take 1 scoop, 1 handful, little water in the mouth, and the remaining into the nostrils. Okay? So, Bismillah, Bismillah, we gargle, and then clean it with these 2 fingers, the one here and this one, in the nose. Okay? We take out everything, all the dirt. Can we do Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Bismillah, 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 Bismillah? Can we do it separately? Yes, it's okay. Afdaliyah, the best option that the ulama say in the books, is to combine it. To make 1 scoop for the nose and for the mouth together. Okay? With 3 handfuls of water, one takes in a mouthful from a handful of water and sniffs up some of the rest of the handful of water. So as mentioned, little, and then the rest goes into the nostrils. Nee, ultimately then you can cause sickness here, but just a small bit until where it's needed. After that is, then wash the entire face. As mentioned, we start from here. We start from where the hairlines normally starts until here. It's the length, and the width is from here till here. Everything needs to be washed. All the hair needs to be washed. Except when you have a thick beard. And what is considered to be a thick beard? Anyone? We discussed this. What is considered to be a thick beard? Yes. When you sit away from a person and you cannot see the skin, that is considered to be a thick beard. Okay? So all the hair here inside, moustache, eyebrows, everything needs to be washed. Whether it is thick, it needs to be washed. The only exception is the beard when it's thick. But when your eyebrows is thick, all the facial hair is thick, besides the beard, you need to reach the skin. It's compulsory for you to reach the skin. Okay? And number 5 is to wash both arms completely up to and including the elbows. 3 times. It is sunnah to pass the fingers through each other. As mentioned, the sunnah, as we showed last week, it is sunnah to pass the fingers through each other. So until here, the hadith says, Inna ummati yud'awna yawm al-qiyamati ghurran muhajjalin yawm al-qiyamah. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will see my ummah by the athar of wudu. So the more you can make, man atala ghirratahu man yastati' yutila ghirratahu falyaf'al. Whoever can length, we can make it more. So till here, above the elbow, try your best to do it, because it will shine on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah. To wipe the head, and we showed last week, we start from here, we go to the back to the nape, and come back. Okay? That's 1. So 1, that's 2, 3. If you are bold, this is a place, then you can just make 1 like this. Are you with me? If you come back, that's considered to be 2. Okay? So just from here, right to the back, to the nape, and back. Okay, inshallah. 3 times. To wipe the inside of the ears with the fingertips and the outside with the thumb. I showed last week this inside and the thumb at the back. So we wash like this 3 times. Okay, inshallah. And to wash the feet up to and including the ankles. As mentioned, where do we start? Ons begin te by die pinky, by die klein toonsie. Are you with me? Then we use our small finger to go into it, into, and this will be the last one. Okay? So 3 times we do the same thing up to the ankles. And after that is, we face the Qibla, and we read the dua, the masnoon dua, the Prophet ﷺ told us, Allahumma ja'alni min at-tawwabina wa ja'alni min al-mutatahhirin. But before that we say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Allahumma ja'alni min at-tawwabina wa ja'alni min al-mutahhirin. Okay? Then during wudu, it is sunnah to wash the limbs successively. What is meant by this is to wash the one limb before the other limbs get dry. Okay? So you wash it after each other before the other one gets dry. It is also sunnah to begin with the right side and then afterwards the left side. Remember I told you last week that if I make wudu and I start here and I wash, is my wudu correct? If I start on the left side, is my wudu correct? It's correct, Imad? It's correct. But it's sunnah to start from the right side. First the right, and then the left. But if it happens, ek het gou vinnig my linkerarm gewas toe my regterarm, is my wudu correct? Yes. So the sequence that we're talking about face, arms, head, and feet. That sequence. Not saying what side. That's not considered to be sequence. It's compulsory. Are you with me? Is that clear? Khair. To wash both hands and cheeks and ears should be washed simultaneously. Simultaneously means you wash it together. The hands together. Bismillah, Bismillah. Issues dini. Bismillah, Bismillah, Bismillah. No, wash it together. And the cheeks and the ears. These, the three parts you wash together. Okay? To avoid splashing water onto one's face or on oneself. To face the Qibla and not to talk except when there is a need and not to waste water. These are the sunnahs of wudu. Okay? So wherever you see, just a note, wherever you see there is no Arabic, then you must know it is not the author's words, but the translator's word. Okay, inshallah. So here you can see, note the cleanliness of the body. So this is not part of the book of Safinatun Najah per se. Okay? It is sunnah to trim the fingernails and toenails, to clip the moustache to the extent that the pink of the upper lip is not visible, mouth. It should not be plucked or shaved. To pluck or to shave the hair of the underarms and nostrils. To shave the pubic hair, to apply kuhul, surma soos ons al sê, to apply hinna for females. And circumcision, which is khitan, circumcision, it is compulsory for both male and females. Circumcision is compulsory for both male and female. No, in Cape Town we only know that the males do it, the boys do it, you know? But it's compulsory for both male and female. Okay? It is haram for male and female to dye the hair black except with the intention of jihad. When you go for jihad and to want to show that you are strong and you're not old, then you can dye your hair white. Okay? So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Now we're starting with the section or the fasl of water. So, the ulama, they divide water into three categories. And this does not come in the book, but we will see how does it make sense. Three types of water. The first type of water is ma'un tahurun. In Arabic we say ma'un tahurun. The second type is ma'un tahirun. The third type is ma'un najisun. And I'll explain all of these. So the first one is ma'un tahurun. Water which is clean in itself and it has the ability to clean something else. That's the first type. Water that is clean in itself and it has the ability to clean something else. What kind of water is this? This is water that can remove hadath. What is hadath? A person can either be in two states. Hadath akbar and hadath asghar. Hadath akbar and hadath asghar. Maybe it's too much terminology that we use. So hadath akbar is when a person is in a state of, he needs to make ghusl. Akbar means the bigger impurity. He needs ghusl. The bigger impurity where he needs ghusl. Hadath asghar is the minor impurity, the small impurity where he needs wudu. Okay? So ma'un tahurun is that water which is clean in itself and it has the ability to remove both hadaths. Can put you in a state of wudu, can put you in a state of ghusl, and it can remove najasa. That's the first water. And normally we call this water ma'ul mutlaq. What we call this water? Ma'ul mutlaq. General water. The water that comes from the sky or the water that comes from the earth. Are you with me? And it stays on its natural position. It stays like how it is. This water you can clean yourself with. Are you with me? You can make wudu with. You can make ghusl with this water. Ma'un tahurun. Then we get another type of water. So normally this type of water, ma'un tahurun, a person he can clean himself with this. He can make wudu, he can make ghusl. Only in one condition. Ma'un mushammas. When the water standing in the sun and as raak warm in die son, then that water will be considered to be ma'un mushammas, water that was heated by the sun, and the ulama say it's makruh. It's disliked to use this water to make wudu and ghusl. Are you with me? But generally, ma'un mutlaq or ma'un tahurun, the water that can clean itself and it's clean in itself, we can make ghusl and wudu with this water. It's the first category. Then the second category we get ma'un tahirun. Ma'un tahirun. Water that's clean in itself, but it does not have the ability to clean something else. Are you with me? Water that it's clean in itself, but you cannot make wudu and ghusl with this water. But in reality the water is clean. But can you make wudu and ghusl with this water? Nope. What kind of water is this? This is water. This is called ma'un musta'mal. Water that has been used. When a person, for example, I take farad wudu. Ek het baie min water. Ek vat 'n farad abdas. And the water that I put a bucket under and I take wudu. So the water that I use to make wudu, farad wudu with, that water is clean in itself. Are you with me? Just look at the water. My body is clean and I take the water. It's clean in itself. But I cannot make wudu with that water. We call that water ma'un musta'mal, water that has been used for farad already. But is it clean in itself? Yes. Can it clean something else? Nope. Good? And then we have the last type of water which is called ma'un najisu, water which is filthy, water which is impure. So water which is impure can either be of two types. A little water and abundant water. We call this in Arabic ma'ul qalil and ma'un kathir. Are you with me? Little water. If it's little water, what is the definition of little water is? Water that's less than 2 kullas, kullatain. You heard this word already? Water that's less than 2 kullatain. What is 2 kullatain in our terms? In this book, it states 190 liters. How many? 190 liters. But just to round it off to the nearest 100, we say 200 liters. So if the water is through 200 liters, less than 200 liters, we call this water ma'un qalilun, little water. So if najasa happens to meet with this water, if any najasa falls in this water, whether the color does not change, whether the taste does not change, whether the smell does not change, this water, you cannot make ghusl or wudu with this water. Are you with me? So, little water is less than how many liters? 200 liters. If, for example, a small najasa falls in and you cannot see there's a change in the smell or the taste, whatever it is, you cannot see it, but you know that najasa fell in this, and this water is less than how many? 200 liters. Then this water, you cannot make wudu and ghusl with this water. This water is called najis water. Okay? Now, if the water is more than 200 liters, we call this ma'un kathir. If the water is more than 200 liters, najasa falls into it, and the color does not change, the taste does not change, the smell does not change, this water, you can make wudu and ghusl with this water. Is it clear? However, if this water's color changed, the smell changed, and the taste changed, then this water, we cannot use this water to make wudu and ghusl. So the difference between ma'un qalil and ma'un kathir is, one is less than 200, whether the color does not change, but you know najasa fell in it, you cannot use it. But if it's more than 200 and you cannot see that the color changed, then you can use it. Okay? Now this chapter that we are doing now, that we will read now, is basically talking about the last type of water that I discussed. It discussed the last type of water. So we mentioned we have three types of water. We say ma'un tahurun, water that's clean in itself and it can clean something else. Ma'un tahirun, water that's clean in itself and it does not have the ability to clean something else. And then we said the last type is ma'un najisun, dirty water or impure water. And then we said this is divided into two categories: little water and abundant water. The little water is less than 200 liters. If najasa falls into it and the color does not change and the taste does not change and the smell does not change, it's still najis. But if it's more than 200, the color does not change, the taste does not change, the smell does not change, it's not najis, I can use it. It will only become najis when the three things change. Is it clear? Any questions on that? Is it clear? Any questions on that? So for example, if I go to a swimming pool or a pond that has six example, a pond have 80 liters of water. A small boy comes in, 5 years old, he throws in najasa in that water. Can I make wudu with that water? I can't see that. I see the color is still nice. I see it's still nice, fresh. It looks like normal water. Can I make wudu with that water? No. However, if the water is 250 liters, a child come in, he throw in najasa in it, the color did not change. Can I make wudu in that water? Yes. But if it happens, it threw too much najasa in, it's more than 250 liters, and the color changed. Can I make wudu in it? No. So I think the lesson is under. Stood khair inshallah. Barakallah fikum. Allah accept inshallah. So now we can go to the book and you will understand why I explained it like that. Faslun. Al-ma'u qalilun wa kathirun. Water can either be a little or abundant water. الماء ما دون القلتين. A little amount of water is that which is less than 2 kullas. A little amount of water is that which is less than 2 kullas. والكثير كلتان فأكثر. Abundant water is that which is 2 kullas, approximately how much liters? 190. But let's round it off. We just say 100 and we just say 200. Some books say 180, some books say 190. But let's just say, okay, we say 200 liters. And then you say, القليل يتنجس بوقوع النجاسة فيه وإن لم يتغير. A little amount of water will become impure when any impurity falls into it, even though the water does not change. There's 3 things you have to look in the water. طعمه لونه وريحه. The taste of the water, the smell of the water, and the color of the water. Okay? If any of that changes, when it's more than 2 kullas, then you must know, okay, I cannot use water. But here you can say a little amount of water will become impure when any impurity falls into it, even though the color or the water does not change. So with a klein bietjie inval, ek sien enige and I know that something fell in this. Are you with me? Then I know I cannot use this water. Now he goes to the ma'un kathir. Abundant water will not become impure except when its taste, color, or smell change. So what do we derive from the last sentence? We derive from the last sentence is, if the smell or the taste or the color does not change, the water is pure. We can use the water. Okay? I think we explained it, and that is understandable. Okay, inshallah? Any questions on this? No questions on this? Okay, so I'm going to ask a question, inshallah, and see if the mafhum or the understanding of the lesson is there, inshallah. Anyone can answer, inshallah. I have a big bucket of water, which is equivalent to 170 liters of water. My dogtertjie kom, het is nou die water wat ek nou gestoor het nou. So for example, we have that big things that we have now by the masajid. So for example, I have, let's say 100 liters approximately. Now someone come in, and you saw that person throw in najasa in that water. Now, can I go to that place? Now kyk ek die water, I look at the water, I check, okay, now the water looks clean. I smell the water and I taste the water is clean. Nothing changed of the water. Can I take wudu with that water? What's the reason? Give me first the reason. What's the reason behind it? Say again? It's less than 2 kulla shukran. Now the same, we have a tank, alhamdulillah, it's 300 liters. A boy come in, he throws in najasa in that water. Let's say we have 2 300s. 1 300, 1 300. The boy come in, he throw in najasa in this water, and he throw in najasa in this water. But in this water, he threw in where the color changed. In this water, he throw in little najasa, but the color and the taste and everything is still on its natural qualities. What one can I make wudu from, and what one can I not make wudu from? The second one is this one. Can I make wudu with this one? Say again? Where there's no change, yes. Khair barakallahu feekum. So, ahsantum, we've understood the lesson. Khair inshallah. So now we go to the next lesson. Mujibatul ghusli sittatun. Things that make ghusl compulsory. When is it compulsory for me to make ghusl? Can we have When you have intercourse, excellent. Anyone else? Anyone else? When? The discharge of semen, excellent. It's a wet dream, yes, it's discharge of semen. Watch though. When? When you lose consciousness, your wudu breaks. Your wudu breaks, not ghusl. Okay. The ladies, hayd. Watch though. Istihada. Istihada, no. Nifas, yes. And watch though. Childbirth. And there's still one left. Yes? And then mayyit, yes, when someone dies, yes, it's compulsory to make ghusl khair. So there's 6. 3, male and female share in 3, and 3 will be exclusive to females only. The 3 that male and female share is sexual intercourse, khuruj al-mani, the discharge of semen, and death. In this 3, male and female share. In this 3 that's exclusively to females, hayd, a menstruation, nifas, after childbirth, the blood that comes after childbirth, and what's the last one is? Al-widada, childbirth itself. Because some females can have a dry birth, where they only give birth and there's no blood afterwards. Just by the the child coming out and wilada giving birth, that breaks the ghusl. And then I want to just bring to the attention of the females is there's 3 types of blood that the female get. It comes out. The first one is the hayd, the menstruation. That is something normal that comes out. Okay? And we will discuss, inshallah, the period, how many days for each. The second one is nifas, the blood after childbirth. And the third one is istihada. Istihada is that blood because of a sickness, because of something that's happening. It's not right. Are you with me? In istihada, the female only needs wudu. Okay? In istihada, the female only needs wudu. And then the stuff that comes out, we have mani, madi, and wadi. You know, there's different types of that come out from the private part. Mani in itself, it is clean. So if there's money on the, obviously, if there's money on the clothes of a male, understand, it's clean. Okay, inshallah. But he needs to make a ghusl. So let's start in the book, inshallah. What are the 6? Ilajul hashafati fil farji. Not, if you say faraj, faraj means a gap, and farj means the female private part. So Arabic is a very a language. If you make one mistake, you can change the whole meaning. Like qalbun and kalbun. Are you with me? If I just change the qaf with the kaf, then I change the whole meaning. In the same way, farajun and farjun. Farajun means a gap. Wallah, make a way out, an exit. Faraj. But farjun means the females. Private part. Inshallah. Ilajul hashafati fil farji. To put in the hashafa, the male's private part, into the female's private part. Just by mere meeting, by putting it in, ghusl becomes compulsory. Are you with me? It's very dangerous for me to be explicit when it comes to this lesson. But khair, inshallah. But when just the passing of the tip of the male's private part into the female's private part, Just by going in, basically, ghusl becomes compulsory. Not by mere ejaculation. It's a wrong concept. People think only that when I ejaculate, then ghusl becomes compulsory. That was first in Islam. The first hukum in Islam, where the Prophet said, Al-ma'u min al-ma', al-ma'u min al-ma'. When ejaculation takes place, then ghusl is compulsory. But then a later rule came, إِذَا جَاوَزَ الْخِتَانُ الْخِتَانَ فَقَدْ وَجَبَ الْغُسْلُ. When the male private part touches or go into the female's private part, then ghusl becomes compulsory. Khair, inshallah. Whatever it is, whether it is, you can read in the footnotes, inshallah, if it's male, female, whatever it is, if there is mujawazatun, if it touches and go into, if it penetrates, then ghusl becomes compulsory. Khair? On male and female. وَخُرُوجُ الْمَنِيِّ وَخُرُوجُ الْمَنِيِّ. And the coming out of the discharge of semen. Khair, inshallah. So you get semen and you get different types. So semen, how do I know when it's semen? Ma'in dafiq. One of the qualities of semen is it comes out with force. It comes out with force. Money, it comes out with force. If you go on page 17, it gives you come in spurts by contraction with sexual gratification. So sexual gratification, there must be some ladha, some gratification where you enjoyed yourself. There's some satisfaction when it comes out. Are you with me? And it's moist and it smells like bread, like dough. Are you with me? And when it's dry, it looks like a white egg. Khair? So these are the qualities of what is called mani. So mani comes out because of sexual dafiq, and madhi can also come out because of jy kry gira, soos hulle sal sê. And wadi comes out because you pick up heavy stuff. Are you with me? So in mani, ghusl is compulsory. In madhi, in other stuff, wudu is compulsory. Okay? Inshallah. So just that point. وَخُرُوجُ الْمَنِيِّ وَالْحَيْضِ. The menstruation of a female, the monthly menstruation of the female. What is the minimum period? Anyone? Minimum period? Anyone? The minimum. Wat is die minste period wat die vrou kan huid kry? Females? Yawmun wa layla. A night and a day. It's the minimum. 24 hours. Okay. What is the mu'tada? What is the normal period? 7 days. And what is the maximum period? Say again? 15 days. 15 days. Jazakumullah khair. Allah yawadin inshallah. So, minimum is 24 hours. A day and a night. If it's less than that, to be considered to be hayd, we look at the color of the blood, it can be istihada. Okay? It can be istihada. Does he make salah? Yes, he makes salah. So he put on pads and all that stuff and all that stuff. Khair. So just recap. For our daughters, if it is that our daughters become baligha and they get the hayd, we need to explain this masail to them. What is the minimum? What can she do? Can she make salah? It's haram. It's haram for her to fast. It's haram for her to make salah. She mustn't. Okay, in Ramadan she respects it. Yes, but she must go eat. But not in front of the people. She mustn't fast. She mustn't make salah. It's haram. Totally haram. Khair? So hayd, Minimum 24 hours, yawmun wa layla. The normal period is 7 days, and the maximum is khamsatu ayyam, khamsatu ashar ayyam, 15 days. Barakallahu feekum. And then we have an-nifas. Nifas is postnatal bleeding, meaning bleeding after child birth, when she gives birth, and there's some blood that comes afterwards out. We call this postnatal bleeding. And then al-wilada. Al-wilada is childbirth itself. So when a female gives birth, whether the birth is dry or whether there's blood also, some females give a dry birth, some females only bleed for a few seconds, some bleed for up to 15, 20, whatever days they bleed. Are you with me? So when even if it's a dry birth, still ghusl needs to be done. And then the last one is al-maut, the mayyit, when someone passes away, death, then it's compulsory to make ghusl of the mayyit. And there's certain places where we don't make ghusl of the mayyit. Who can enlighten us to say where is the exception for us to make ghusl of the mayyit? Anyone? When a person passes away as a shaheed, then ghusl won't be made. And another one? As-siqat. As-siqat. As-siqat means baby before it developed, a miscarriage basically, or a child that came not, and there's no imaratul hayat, there's no signs of life, and then in this case we don't make ghusl of the mayyit. So these two exceptions, there might be more, but here two exceptions is, here they mention it is wajib to give a bath to a Muslim who is a non-martyr. It is not wajib to give a bath to a disbeliever, though it is permissible. It is haram to give a bath and offer salah upon a martyr. Upon a martyr, we don't make a ghusl upon the martyr. And also the as-siqt. As-siqt is a small child that's born before 4 months, and there's no amaratul haya, there's no signs of life. Okay? نكتفي بهذا إن شاء الله. Then we will continue next week inshallah. Is there any questions on the specific topic that we've done tonight? Any questions? What do you mean by powder? Khair inshallah. Any other questions? Khair inshallah. Only when it comes out, then when it has the quality of money, and then you make ghusl. It doesn't have those qualities as mentioned. We read the qualities. It comes out force. It comes out because of gratification, and it has a different smell. You smell it like bread, like dough. And if it doesn't have these qualities, then it's something else. Okay? Then it can be considered to be madhi or wadi, right? Depending on your condition and on the description of the liquid that comes out of the private part. Do we make ghusl there? No, we make wudu. Okay? Any other questions? That's different. When the water's in a bucket, in a certain bucket, then it's called ma'ul musammas. As for that water, it won't be called ma'ul musammas. Certain bucket, then. Any other question? نكتفي بهذا إن شاء الله. سبحان الله بحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.